Everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is another update. I was going to do a week ahead reading, but honestly, you guys, I feel like things are taking speed, like they're speeding up so fast, and things are happening, they're occurring, things are going wild, and they're not going to slow down. It's about to get wilder and wilder. So I decided to once again pick up the format that I previously had, which is looking at the headlines of the day and just doing a reading on them. Okay, so today I'm focusing on three main things. One is Kamala Harris and what she's going to be bringing to the table and how things are going to be changing around her. The second thing is the shooting of Sonya Massey. If I have time for a third topic, I'll see what spontaneously comes up. So let's start off with demons. I'm hearing demons. Let's get that out of the way. So Sonya Massey, in case you guys didn't hear about this story, was a woman who lived in Illinois. So Sonya Massey, and I'm on apnews.com, as you guys can see, but Sonya Massey, she was a woman who lived in Springfield, Illinois, and she called the police because she was afraid of an intruder, a possible intruder in her home. Now, what happened after that was just wild, and it was all captured on the body cam of the officers who showed up there to her call. He shot her point blank in the face. It's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal what happened over a pot of boiling water. But what I found really, really, really suspicious was that he said to her, I don't want anything, I don't want your water or something like that. And she said, oh, I rebuke you. And he started going after her and just yelling at her, swearing at her, and shot her in the face. So he worked for 6 agencies in 4 years. He's clearly, yeah. So it said here, he yelled across the counter to Massey to set down a pot of water. He then threatened to shoot the unarmed woman. Massey ducked, briefly rose, and Grayson fired his pistol at her. Massey was hit 3 times with a fatal shot to her head. I'm not going to show the video. You can find it all over TikTok, but there's a key, or wherever you go, X, but there's a key moment in this where he literally, she was first, they start badgering her and bullying her, asking her why it took so long for her to open the door. And she said she was trying to get some clothes on, like she's sorry, she was just getting dressed. And then they walk into the house, and you see next how she's in the kitchen, because the officer tells her to go into the kitchen. She goes into the kitchen, she's standing next to the stove, and she's boiling a pot of water apparently. And he says something to her. She's like, I don't remember the exact conversation, but you can see it. But he says something to her, which is going off the trail, which was really, so she's like, I rebuke you. And it was kind of I didn't take it that way. It was more of a kind of she was trying to joke with them. She was trying to, but he lit up and he started yelling at her to put the pot of water away, to put the pot of water down. He was halfway across the room, so even if she'd thrown it at him, there's no way it would have hit him or harmed him in any way. And so all of a sudden, I don't know, she moved and he shot her point blank in the face. It is the most brutal thing I've ever seen. But this came right after she said, I rebuke you. And this is what I keep telling women, right? Women and feminine energy is your feminine energy. Catholic priests that are exorcists will tell you that the devil hates Mother Mary. The devil hates feminine energy. And another thing is that the no, women being able to say no, no is your power. And women do not understand this. They are trained from being very small, very little, that they have to be good, they have to be polite, they have to be perfect, they have to be little ballerina dolls in the jewelry case. Otherwise, they're not good women. And it removes the power from them. But this is coming from a patriarchal mindset, because the power of the female lies in the no. And if the woman says no at the wrong time in the wrong place, this can happen to her. Men don't have to be afraid to say no. They can say no all they want, but if a woman says no to the wrong person, wrong time, wrong place, she can end up dead. And that is the power of the female no. Now, I keep explaining to people that feminine power is like the egg, I can't change nature, right? I can't change nature. It is what it is, what it is. You have the egg, you have the sperm. Which one's working its way, right? It's working its way. The egg's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. And that is the strength of feminine energies, to just sit. This is why the feminine energy is a manifesting energy. It's not a creative energy. It's a manifesting energy. And manifestation also means to release control, not to have control out of what comes out of you, such as, let's say, a pregnancy. You're pregnant for 9 months. Who and what comes out of you and their life story, that is not up to you. And you can't control that. All you can do is accept that. And that is the power of manifestation, is you can't literally control down to the minutest detail how life decides to present itself or unfold. You can only be the gateway for that, for it to happen and come through. And so a woman's power isn't saying no, just like the egg. When all these sperm are coming at the egg says no to this one, no to this one, doesn't open up to that one, doesn't open up to that one, but you're the one, baby. And it says yes to one. That's the power of the female yes and no. As above, so below, as below, so above, right? And we see it here. I rebuke you. And it triggers feelings in people where they're like, women are not allowed to say no. They always have to say yes. And yet the high priestess is shown with her legs closed, a no. The empress is shown with her legs open, a yes. It's up to the woman to say yes or no. And this is such a powerful energy. It's so powerful. Now, that being said, we also are looking at the police officer who lit up at the words, I rebuke thee. It was almost as if he was triggered, as if he was some kind of sleeper agent, as if he was something took over in that moment, because he went off. And when his colleague who was there wanted to go back to the car to get the kit, he said in a really cold voice, and you have to listen to that, oh, she's gone, bro. Like, that was a clear head shot. That was a clear shot to the head. That was a clear shot to the face. Unreal, unreal. And if you can stomach it, have a look at it. So let's have a look at what really happened behind the scenes here, right? Because he's now been fired from the police force, and there are, well, slowly, I guess, charges coming up. But Joe Biden did write so we see here a statement from President Joe Biden on Sonya Massey. Oh, that's the third topic we're going to get into. Is Joe Biden still alive? So Sonya Massey, a beloved mother, friend, daughter, and young Black woman, should be alive today. Sonya called the police because she was concerned about a potential intruder. When we call for help, all of us as Americans, regardless of who we are or where we live, should be able to do so without fearing for our lives. Sonya's death at the hands of a responding officer reminds us that all too often Black Americans face fears for their safety in ways many of the rest of us do not. Sonya's family deserves justice. I'm heartbroken for her children and her entire family as they face this unthinkable and senseless loss. Jill and I mourn with the rest of the country, and our prayers are with Sonya's family, loved ones, community during this devastating time. I commend the swift actions that were taken by the Springfield State's Attorney's Office. While we wait for the case to be prosecuted, let us pray to comfort the grieving. Congress must pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act now. Our fundamental commitment to justice is at stake. So this is where people like that read behind, that look into things start to get disgusted, because everything is politicized. Everything is politicized. Everything is run to the maximum hilt. So they're utilizing this now and this tragedy to further their political agenda, which is clear. And they're utilizing it to trigger emotions and do the same thing they did back in 2020, trigger these minority issues, let's call them, and to somehow steer the crowd in a certain direction that they want them to go. And it's the mixing the truth with the lies, right? So is it a good thing for them to steer them back in the direction of what they steered them in 2020 and vote for Democrats because we see your problems, we see what you're facing, we see what you're going through, and we have solutions for that. We're not denying it, we're not addressing it. We're going to find solutions together. Or a look at what the other side does, which is, I mean, this is the image that they're painting, right? So these problems are going to become more due to the other side of the Democrats, the Republicans, not really addressing these things in a sense. So, or that's the image that they like to put out there. So it's interesting because that's the thing with Kamala, and we're going to dive deeper into this when we're looking at Kamala and is Joe Biden still alive, and yeah, whatever else comes up. Okay, so let's have a look here and see the Sonya Massey shooting and what was this really about. What was going on behind the scenes? Who is the police officer that did this, and why would he lose his mind like that? Now, I do not understand why the US has such issues finding police officers. I live in a country where, no, it's not without problems, not gonna lie. Everywhere there are people, you're going to have problems. But to the extent that America has, with America's resources, that is educational level and resources, and they're having this degree of difficulties with their law enforcement is absolutely unreal. The hiring process, the training process, where I live, it's 3 years training to become a police officer. There's a significant background and psychological check. There are various specializations afterwards, but those initial 3 years are rough. And no joke. We're going to have a look at Sean Grayson, and then we'll have a look at Sonya Massey. Woo! So Sean Grayson is going to, the cards that flew out are the Page of Swords and the Hanged Man. So he is definitely getting he was used. Okay, this is as clear as day. He was used. Definitely in a stuck position, the Hanged Man, and we've got the Page of Swords. So his naivete, his there's some kind of a processing problem with him. He's not the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed because he's still at the level of the page at his age and stage of life. He's still in this youthful, so he's kind of stuck, and he's probably getting minimal information. That's what I'm feeling. Okay, so let's have a look. Who's Sean Grayson, please? And immediately my energy starts to dip. I'm feeling like this sinking in my energy. I'm feeling a very heavy, disgusting kind of sickness in my stomach. I'm feeling like I'm about to hurl, I'm about to barf. This goes way beyond anxiety or fear. This is far, far, far beyond that. And let's see, who is Sean Massey? How do others see him? How does Sean Massey see himself? Was there an entity with Sean Massey, yes or no? And if, which one? How do only others see him? How do spirits see him, the current energy that he's in? So right now he's in hermit mode. He's in hermit mode at the same time, though, Page of Wands. So there's some kind of lines of communication that are open. He's also dealing with an older man. This may or may not be his lawyer, but there's some kind of a counseling happening, some kind of a education, teaching, some kind of an information, but he's being given hope. Yeah. And he's also being, I don't say he's regretting it, but he's looking at his head over heels actions versus acting with wisdom. And that's coming up for him now, where he's kind of wishing he'd acted with more wisdom. However, I also feel that there's something, he may also have a son or a young boy that he's concerned about. Okay. Let's see here. We've got the Two of Coins. He's uncertain. He's uncertain about how to move forward, how things are going to unfold for him. It does feel as if he's not too concerned, you guys. I hate to say this, but the feelings I'm getting when it comes to the outcome of this, it's he's not too concerned. The Two of Coins is not a seriously concerned card. It's a confused card. Yeah, it's a uncertain in the sense, oh, should I do this or should I do that? But there's something nonchalant about it. I'd say the fives are a lot more agitated, anxious, excited, that kind of energy. But the twos are just like, So people see him as being pretty okay, like not okay about the situation, but considering the circumstances, relaxed. How he sees himself is the Knight of Wands. He sees himself as an agent of change. This is interesting. He also sees himself as someone who is hot-headed, who he recognizes that he's the wand's energy is really just it just blows up, it just explodes, and he sees himself as someone who couldn't control himself, where his feelings, his thoughts just ran through with him, ran away with him. Was there an entity with him with a star? Yes, there definitely was an entity with him. The star is yes. Okay. Next up is how do others see him? They see him as, we've got the Eight of Wands. There's some kind of a messenger. He received a message. He received this was definitely I hate to say this, but this is part of a bigger picture, because the energy that I'm picking up here is, he's too nonchalant about this. How does Spirit see him? The King of Wands. Yeah. King of Coins. Sorry. Yeah. The King of Coins. This was done in service to something bigger. This was done in service to something, a bigger picture, a bigger, and some people are going to say, oh my gosh, Karleen, like, no, seriously, guys, this is part of a bigger puzzle piece. This is not some random happening that this party then decided to use. There's some kind of a sleeper agent energy to this. Okay, let's have a look. Who is Sonya Massey? Sonya Massey, please. I feel like almost like this guy is going to go through with the trial and all of that. It's going to be, an open affair. But afterwards, he's going to go into witness protection, because there's something else happening with this that's being utilized for something bigger. I promise you. Some people spoke about that after the assassination attempt on Trump. They were going to do something else, and they were going to target Biden. And actually, Joe Rogan spoke about that. No, not Joe Rogan. What's his name? Alex Jones. Okay. Alex Jones, on his X videos and so on and so forth, he said after this thing with Trump, they couldn't, like, the shadow powers, the powers that be, they couldn't, it didn't succeed, that attempt, because I'm telling you, we switched timelines. And I mentioned that in the previous video. We have switched timelines again, because the ending of that story was meant to be that this person is no longer with us. And with that timeline switch, it now opened up other things that needed to happen. And so the next decision, AJ says, is that they were going to go after Biden. And here we are, right? So Biden has stepped down. Who knows why? Because he didn't want to. Like, I feel it in my that he didn't want to step down. He was probably pressured, coerced, pushed, convinced. He didn't want to. And I do feel that Kamala is sincerely loyal, but not to the end, not to the very, very, very end. Not that. But let's see here. Who is Sonya Massey, please? Sonya Massey and this Massey shooting. Who is Sonya Massey, please? Here we are again. She's part of it. Yeah, she's part of it. Who's Sonya Massey? There's a substantial amount of money that's involved with this. And it comes from her feeling like she had no other option or no other choice. Why do I say that? Well, how everyone sees her is the Knight of Wands. Interesting, because this Knight of Wands showed up in the Sean's, what's his name again? Sean Grayson's cards previously, okay? So this Knight of Wands, this is either they'd met before, they'd seen each other before, something like that, but there's a knowing of these two, between the two of them. And it also feels like she's part of this agent for change, part of this agent that is going to drive specific changes to occur in the United States. Here, she sees herself as resurrected. This is the Judgment card. This is a card of resurrection. Okay. So I feel like, yes, she might be dead to the world, but she's literally resurrected somewhere else, or she woke up in heaven. I hope that, I hope that she woke up in heaven. But it went, if that wake up in heaven, it went really quickly. Everything went super quickly for her. I don't feel that she suffered in any which way, shape, or form. I'm going to leave it at that. But there's some kind of a resurrection, and it's up to you what you feel that resurrection would be. Now, how others see her, only others see her Nine of Pentacles, is someone who was doing well on her own. She finally cut a corner in her life. She was doing well on her own, and or was living independently, was very independent or desired independence, was focused on her money, focused on her income. And that may be because on the spiritual side, we've got this deep feeling of failure, being a failure, having failed in life, Seven of Coins. Okay. So I honestly, I feel like there's more to the story than meets the eye, number one. There's something going on about being put into a program where they, on the other side, they start a new life. And you can see it this way or that way, whichever way, but I do see an ending and a restart, a re-beginning of a new life somewhere, somehow else. Let's see, this whole situation, Sean Grace and Sonya Massey. And I'm asking cards to be specific. So I'm hoping that if there was an entity attachment, a demonic entity attachment, that the devil card specifically will fall out, or some kind of extremely negative card to show. So was there an entity with Sean Grayson, please? And we saw before, yes. That there was kind of an entity, but we have here Eight of Coins. This is a financial transaction. There's some kind of a money, some kind of a planning. You guys can look up the Eight of Coins. Please do look it up and write it in the comment section below. But this has to do with work, planning, and skill. Okay. And exchange of coins. Ooh. Oh, I'm feeling yucky, you guys. I don't like this energy at all. At all. This is it feels like a story that is being politicized, and whoever's a part of it is gaining from it in some way, shape, or form. I hate to say that, and I know people are going to attack me. I'm sorry. This is what's coming up. This is what I'm feeling. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is what's coming up and what I'm feeling here. Okay. And I apologize to anyone suffering or the deceased if this is seen in any which way, shape, or form as disrespectful. That is not my intention. Let's see here. What else? Is this situation being used for politics, to politicize, to sway popular opinion or perception in any which way, shape, or form at this time? And several cards stood out. We've got a clear yes, Three of Cups and Six of Cups. Six of Cups is hearkening to the past, right? Looking deeper into the soul, touching the soul of things. And the Three of Cups is working together, but for good intention, good means, good outcomes, joyous outcomes. This is something that worked, kind of thing. I just get really suspicious because how is it that you walk into a house and shoot somebody dead? Like, just because they're moving a pot of water? Like, that makes no sense, Like, it makes no sense. It would have made more sense if she'd pulled out a knife or she had a gun and was armed, but she clearly, or maybe, I don't know. Okay, so let's move on to Kamala, please. Let's move on to Kamala, and Sonya Massey's energy of that situation will flow into this one and Sean Grayson's, but Kamala, please. What's going on with Kamala? Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. And I do have a strong feeling that Kamala's, yeah, she's on the victory run. So this is Six of Wands. The and the Chariot. Okay, she's on the victory run. And Trump literally thought that with that stunt that he pulled, and that he would get away with that, and that would guarantee him the victory. But kind of people are tired of his shenanigans, and people are starting to see that he's an excellent showman. And now that Joe Biden is gone, and the focus on Joe Biden's weakness and frailty and not being able to stand up to Trump, the truth of Trump is going to be revealed again, unfortunately for him. But people are going to start seeing it clearer now because they're not focused on Biden anymore. It's gone. And so Trump's now going to be the one representing that demographic that people are kind of tired of seeing in leadership positions. And they already know where this goes. They know what the deal is. They know what he's going to try to do. But Kamala's bringing a fresh wind to the plate where they're not quite sure what she's going to do and how she's going to develop in this new role and new position. Not only that, Kamala is going to be bringing up, through Kamala, all these topics are coming up on the table. We're going to be talking over the next months about sexism, misogyny, glass ceilings for women, especially women of color, people of color. All these things are going to come up on the table, and she's going to find connection with a very broad demographic that are going to be like, they would vote for anybody except for Trump, number one. Then the others who feel like, finally, somebody who represents me. I get where she's coming from. So people are going to be throwing all kinds of things at her, like she slept her way to the top, which will bring up the topic of male dominance in society. How does that even work, that you sleep your way to the top, unless men don't have that position of power, that actual position of power? And besides, what do other men do to get to where they want to get to? What are the sacrifices they make? What are the things that they do? And nobody charges them or points fingers at them, right? So what does it mean to be female in the modern world? These are all going to be topics that are coming up on the table. And people are here for it. Not only that, Kamala was smart. She hired Gen Z to do her social media. So Gen Z is going to be fantastic in pushing her out there. And finally, the full clips of what she's saying and speaking about are being aired on the media, because the media is so grateful they have somebody else that they can promote. And so we're seeing that she actually makes sense what she talks about. Previously, the clips that we heard made no sense whatsoever. But now when you're getting the full context and you're trying to understand her, and that filter of Kamala's crazy has been removed, and you're just listening to words with no judgment, you're realizing, wow, she's talking about something other than herself, which Trump doesn't do. So she's really focusing on the issues and connecting with the issues that this generation faces in this world today, and moving forward. So yeah, is she perfect? No. Is anybody going to be perfect? No. But it's time for America to walk the talk. They haven't been walking the talk, but so many other countries, from England, Germany, Mexico now, gosh, in Asia, go anywhere, have had female leadership. America hasn't. They talk the most about equality. They talk the most about democracy. They talk the most about all of that, but there's still a very white male dominated patriarchal culture. And whereas other countries have moved on like years ago, the Americans are still like, oh my God, there's a different way to live. Are you serious? Can we? And she's bringing that energy in where people are like, wow, I have an alternative now. So is this staged? Absolutely. She's probably going to be an interim president until it could be that she even runs 2 terms, but she might be someone who opens the doors and the gateway for someone else to follow, who's really going to make the changes in society that are going to be whoosh, right? That are going to really sweep us all away. So let's have a look at Kamala here. And we've got the Eight of Wands. She's definitely in her communication phase. And we're going to be hearing a lot about her, seeing a lot about her. And the great positive on her side, too, is her husband, Doug, is so relatable. He's a nice guy. He's just a nice, geeky, kind of down-to-earth kind of guy. And when you listen to him talk and you hear the stories of how he got to know Kamala and all of that, it's so cute. And it's wholesome. And people are tired of the non-wholesome freak show that has been going on the last couple of years with Joe Biden's son, Trump. It's like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And people really are looking for anything or anyone to put something clean and to look up to something back on their White House as the leader of the free world, in air quotes, right? So we've got the Eight of Wands here. Things are going to move very quickly, very swiftly. We also see 8 weeks. There are literally 8 weeks that she has to make her point, okay? Then we see here how she sees herself, the Three of Swords. She is devastated. This is rolling way faster. She's been prepped for this, prepared for this, but there's some kind of a grieving process that is happening, maybe leaving her past life behind. The presidency, if you look at the presidents when they went into office and when they come out of office, the difference in how they aged compared to how they were aging before is remarkable. Have a look at the presidents, what they look like and what the presidency actually does to a person. And we can debate what happens during the presidency to cause this rapid acceleration. The nonstop stress would be one, possibly. Behind the scenes stuff would be other things, another thing, you know. Threats, constant threats could be another thing, who knows. But there's something that she's grieving here. This is a grief, a leaving the past behind. But it could also connect with Joe, because I do feel that they are they're fake close. Okay, they work well together and they've learned to be close to one another and to be open to one another, but it's like an arranged marriage type of thing. I don't feel like this is the normal connection that she would have in her real life, but she's making it work, he's making it work. But there's some kind of a sadness here. How others see her, they see her as the victor. This is the sun, right? She doesn't see this yet, but they see it. They see that she's going to fulfill that potential. How spirit sees her, iffy. Two of Coins, undecided. But this can also mean that she's here to navigate change. Yeah. Okay. Joe Biden's still alive. That's what we all want to know. Now, this is I used to work with, not for a group finding missing people. Some of you know that. And they had some classes way back when. I don't know if they're still doing them, but one of the things we were learning was how to discern whether someone was alive or dead. And I'll never forget that class. And it really is in the inner, it's hard to say. Like, if you ask spirit directly, is someone alive or dead? And I've said it in previous videos, spirit will usually answer, yeah, they're alive. And then later you find out, oh no, they died. And people are like, how could you do this to the family? It's because spirit doesn't know death. Death isn't real. Death is real to us on this side of the veil, but for spirit, it's all life and it's all alive. So if you say to spirit, are they alive? Spirit's going to be like, yeah, of course they're alive. Why are you asking me this? Yeah, they're right over there. But for us, right over there isn't right here. And alive doesn't mean incarnate. So I've learned to ask specifically, is this being incarnate in the flesh or not? And I've also learned to feel the energy. Sometimes you look at newspapers, you look at pictures or images of people, and you can get a reading, right? So when I'm looking at pictures of Joe Biden, something definitely happened. Something happened in addition to. It's almost as if him being forced out, I do feel this was a forcing out. And I think this is what struck Kamala as well, was the intensity of it all. And but they knew that if they continued to run with Joe, that they weren't going to win against Trump. Not going to happen. Trump was the minute Trump came out with VP Pence and announced it, it was game over because not Pence, sorry, Vance, JD Vance, VP JD Vance. The game was over, and they made their move. Why? Because JD Vance is the bridge to that demographic, that age group, that everything that is moving away from white male domination, right? So the minute that JD Vance came up, they knew they had to, Joe Biden was like, it has to stop here. And so something happened as a result of that. That's what I'm picking up. When I see his picture, it's almost like he's so shocked or so stunned or so, like it went so quickly from one day to the next for him. He wasn't, I really honestly feel he wouldn't have stepped down unless he was forced to. This was a stubborn guy who was hooked on power just as much as Trump was, who really lost the plot a little bit in his capability and what he was capable of doing. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles, and this is my stubborn card. This is also my narc card, by the way, when I'm doing relationship readings for various reasons. But in this case, the Knight of Pentacles is like double underlining the stubbornness of Joe, and that he's slow, plodding. He doesn't really, flow with the energies too much. He doesn't really realize when things have shifted, things have changed. He can't really read the room, And so but also someone who's focused on the money. And remember in that reading that I did previously, it was like, is Joe going to go? And it was like, he doesn't want to go. He's not going to go of his own accord because of the money, because of business dealings that his name is tied to, and that where his position as president is imperative for these dealings to continue. So there's a lot shifting behind the scenes as he moves out of that position. But one of the things is definitely money. So how he sees himself as a failure, okay? He sees himself as a failure. He sees himself as not being able to complete, not being able to finish, not being able to continue. He sees himself as lacking support. He sees himself as standing alone by himself. He actually feels very lonely at this moment, and it feels like he's lost everything. Now that's an exaggeration, because him losing everything, he's still living a better life than 99% of humanity, but he feels as if he's lost everything. And that's where I find it sad, because it has become a game to people, this political thing. And it's not so much about serving society and serving their people and serving the people underneath them, which is what kings used to do. It's a game, and he feels like he's lost the game. How only others see him. They see him as ready to move on. Yeah, this is the Eight of Cups. They see him as ready, having moved on or ready to move on. Uh-oh. We've got the Five of Coins and the Eight of Cups, but they're going to show him again, okay? This is why I'm not going to sign that he's passed away, because we're going to see him again. He's going to show up again. How Spirit sees him, he's fulfilled his karma. And his karma wasn't that huge. This is the Six of Coins. It's the smaller karma card for me, but he's fulfilled his karma. He's done his job. He's done what he came to do. He's done what he's supposed to do. It's now everything is in balance for his pathway. Yeah. But we're going to see him again. I don't feel he's passed on officially. We're going to see him again, or what we're supposed to think is him. But I don't feel him being around for too much longer, okay? After him moving on. It's almost like without this, he has nothing left to ride for. Okay. So then Kimberly Cheatle stepped down as the head of Secret Service in light of the events in Pennsylvania regarding Trump. And what was that about? Kimberly. The energy that she's in right now is the Four of Coins. She's defending her position. She's feeling very defensive, and she's feeling attacked. It was a defensive move. This is not something that she wanted to do. It's almost something she had to do to cement her defense. There's she feels attacked. She feels like this is part of a strategy with the Five of Swords. It's a strategy of theft, and theft of her position, or theft of her theft of the power positions, right? A theft of the power positions in the on Capitol Hill. She's armored up and ready to fight. This is the Knight of Swords, but she's experiencing this also as an extremely stressful time, extreme attack and pain. The Knight of Swords, Five of Swords, it's all out war. This is an absolute nightmare and catastrophe for her. She actually has no clue what to do. The Hanged Man, she feels stuck. And she also feels used. There's this energy of feeling like stuck as a pawn. That's what I'm picking up. Stuck as a pawn in a game she didn't really, she underestimated. Others see her as dead. She's out of the game. That's it for her. She will, not die clearly. Transition into some other kind of working. She may take a break for quite a while and restructure herself in some way, shape, or form. But I do see her taking a break. And then there's healing. King of Cups. She may be taking a break, staying with family, doing that kind of thing, but taking time out to heal. But she definitely feels as if a game was played with her, and she is ready to move on. Yeah, she stepped down now, and apparently she still has no answers how things came about or how they happened. There's still a lot of questions open that she can't answer in regards to this occurrence with Trump. So again, I have my feelings on that occurrence with Trump, but Spirit, I did the cards on it, and that's what came up. So what can I say? But it's whew, it's getting hot. Let's have a look at the Ukraine. Let's just have a quick look at the Ukraine, because that may or may not escalate right before November. We know that America likes their elections dramatic and with the most bang and fanfare and blockbuster news for months possible. So let's see, is there going to be an escalation of war or a threat of war? And we're going to have a look at Ukraine, Southeast Asia, Russia. Ukraine, more money is going to flow, but it's going to be less than it was before. This is the Eight of Coins. So it's going to continue to be paid to do whatever it's doing there. And but it's slowly, the purse is being drawn closed again. The Eight of Coins is an energy that really, it's not cheap, but it's not generous. It's just very, okay, here are 10, you asked for $10, here are $10. The 10 of coins would be like, here, oh, you asked for $10, here are $100, make sure you invest some kind of thing. But the Eight of Coins is the Five of Coins would be cheap. You ask for $10. What do you need $10 for? I give you five, right? But yeah, so exactly what they're asking for, they're going to get, but not a penny more. Like it's going to become very, very, narrowed down, let's say. Asia, we've got the Queen of Coins. They're not ready yet. Nobody's ready yet to take on Asia, and Asia is not ready yet to take on the world. Queen of Coins energy is still amassing resources, focused on amassing resources, focused on amalgamation, focused on colonialization, soft conquering, like going into places, building schools, hospital, bridges, and marrying the locals and having children with them, and that through that creating ties. That's like Queen of Coins energy. So that's what the continued focus is going to be. And Russia, we've got the Seven of Cups. Yeah, this is going to get a little bit more. Seven of Cups has to do with disillusionment, right? So pulling away the veil of illusion. So there will be a continued focus on the argument with Russia. The other ones are going to just run in the background kind of thing. But probably some kind of disillusionment with Russia is going to pop up. Okay. So that's as far as I can go today. And I hope you enjoyed this. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to book your own personal session with me, you guys, and get the scoop on your issues in your life and your opportunities and what you can do next, what opportunities and doors and portals are waiting for you, how to get to where you want to get to, what's holding you back, and how to release that out of your life. Sign up in the description box below. I can't wait to work with you. Take care. Bye.